I've been in the private security game for years. Stadiums, festivals, celebrity events. You name it, I've kept people safe there. Most jobs come through agencies, clean contracts, background checks. But this one started with a call in the middle of the night. No caller ID, voice low, calm, almost too calm. They didn't mention Astroworld by name. They just said they needed experienced personnel for crowd control and restricted access management. High pay, cash bonus, NDA on arrival. I was told to pack for 3 days. I was used to working with tight-lipped clients, but this was different from the start. They told me not to bring my own radio or even my usual earpiece. They'd provide everything. That's not standard. Then they told me not to post anything online, even privately. That's when I knew this wasn't a normal assignment. The morning I arrived in Houston, a black SUV with no plates picked me up. The driver didn't speak. We passed security gates and production trailers until we pulled up to the back of the Astroworld main stage area. It was early, before sound check, before fans started pouring in. Still, something about the place felt off. Too many plainclothes people milling around. Too many areas taped off. A man in a dark suit met me at the gate. He handed me a clipboard with an NDA so thick my wrist ached holding it. "Sign and you'll get your assignment," he said. No copy for me, no explanation, just the understanding that once I signed, I'd be part of something I couldn't talk about, ever. After signing, they gave me a badge with no name, just a barcode. My post wasn't a barricade or a VIP entrance. It was a small access door hidden behind the main stage structure. My job? Monitor for unauthorized entry, assist with lockdown procedures if ordered. That was all they'd tell me. By mid-afternoon, the place was alive. Music tests booming, lights strobing, crew running around. From where I stood, I could see the stage floor up close. That's when I noticed something strange. A section of the flooring didn't match the rest. Most of it was reinforced platform panels, but one part, right in the center, was a heavy rug. You don't lay rugs on concert stages. They trip performers. They slide. It made no sense. During a lull in setup, one of the stagehands brushed past me and muttered, "Don't touch the carpet." He didn't stop walking. I wasn't about to mess with production, but now I couldn't unsee it. The rug's corner was curled just slightly, like something beneath it had shifted. Later that night, after the gates opened and the music started, my comm crackled. "Stage access point, come inside now." I stepped through the same door I'd been guarding and found myself in the main backstage area. The carpet was rolled halfway back, revealing a metal hatch inset into the floor. It looked industrial, with a biometric scanner on one side. I'd seen similar hatches in government facilities, never in an entertainment venue. One of the men from earlier, contractor gear, no name tag, nodded at me. "We're going down. You're first." He handed me a flashlight and a portable scanner. "Air quality's been cleared. No weapons past this point." I asked why no weapons, and he just said, "Don't bring anything you're not ready to leave behind." The hatch opened with a hiss. A wave of cold, damp air rolled up. The smell hit me. Wet stone, metal, and something faintly organic. It wasn't strong, but it was wrong. I started down the spiral metal staircase. Each step groaned under my weight. 20 feet down, the stairs opened into a hallway. Bare concrete floor. Drainage grates every 10 feet. walls lined with steel mesh. At the end was a metal door already unlocked. I stepped through, and that's when it hit me. This wasn't some utility corridor. It was bigger, cleaner, too deliberate. The lights overhead were spaced evenly, but flickered like they hadn't been serviced in years. My scanner pinged. Once, twice, 6 times. 6 separate signals behind the walls. Sealed rooms. No markings, no labels. I radioed up. "You didn't say anything about secure rooms." The reply was short. "Don't open them. Just scan, confirm, and report changes." Then silence. That's when I heard it. Faint, deliberate footsteps from behind one of the sealed doors. The footsteps were slow, deliberate, like someone wanted me to know they were there. I turned toward the hatch, but it was already closed, locked from above. I've been in vaults, panic rooms, even old missile silos. Those walls were always meant to keep danger out. But here, the steel, the mesh, the biometric locks, they were built to keep something in. The scanner in my hand kept pulsing, 6 signals steady except for one. The one the device labeled Room 6 flickered once, then went dark. Whoever or whatever was behind that door wasn't anymore. That's when I noticed the cameras. Not the handheld one I suddenly realized was lying near my boot, dusty and blinking faintly like it had just been turned on. I mean the ones built into the tunnel itself. Recessed domes tucked just above the light strips. Easy to miss unless you were looking for them. Someone was watching. Someone knew I was down there. I picked up the dusty camcorder and pressed play. The screen was mostly black, but a voice came through. Tired, strained. "Day 4, no way out. The hatch doesn't respond to voice anymore. The doors are talking to each other. I hear music, like underwater. If anyone finds this, the 6th room is empty. That's the one they use. Tell Quincy, I tried." The feed cut. Whoever recorded it had never left. The overhead lights dimmed. Not a full blackout, just a flicker, like something had moved between me and the sensors. My skin went cold. I needed a way out. But the map they'd given me showed only 3 routes. One to a wine cellar, one to a pool filtration shaft, and one, if the rumors were true, connecting to the ridge that overlooked the old Astroworld amusement park site. I picked the filtration shaft route. The corridor narrowed, lights spaced further apart, and the air grew colder. I could hear water dripping somewhere ahead. Then, laughter. Not loud, not hysterical. Soft, female close. I rounded a corner, ready for anything. But the hallway was empty. Only a row of antique mirrors bolted into the concrete, tall and cracked at the center like they'd been ripped from an old dressing room. One of them had writing across the glass in what looked like red lipstick or dried blood. 4 words. "They let the sun in." I blinked, and the words were gone. My reflection stared back at me, except it wasn't breathing. The hallway ended in a reinforced door. This one didn't have a biometric panel, just a digital lock. My scanner buzzed. The system recognized an emergency bypass code. I keyed it in. Click. The door swung open. A spiral staircase descended deeper than I thought possible. My ears popped twice on the way down. The air was thicker here, humid, pressing against my lungs. And then I stepped out into a ballroom. 5 floors beneath the stage, perfectly preserved, lit by chandeliers that swayed without wind. Velvet curtains lined the far walls. Marble statues stood in the corners, faceless like mannequins. A grand piano gleamed at the center, surrounded by rows of chairs in a perfect semicircle.
There was no dust, no decay. It was like this place had been frozen in time, waiting for something or someone to start the performance.
The mirrors were here too. 12 of them evenly spaced along the walls, each one vibrating softly like a string under tension. I stepped up to one. For a split second, someone stood behind me in the reflection, a tall figure in a white mask.
I spun around. Empty room. The humming stopped.
Beyond the ballroom, a stone hallway stretched out. This part felt older, carved long before the concert grounds were ever built. The air turned sweet, almost perfumed, but under it was that same rotting undertone. Paintings cover the tunnel walls, not framed but painted directly onto the stone. Faces warped, mouths open in silent screams, eyes completely gone. Under each, a name: Christian, Quincy, Cassie, Justin, and then mine. Carved, fresh, still wet. The hallway bent sharply. I ran straight into another mirror, black like obsidian, warm to the touch. It pulsed beneath my hand. And then a voice slid into my skull. They danced for him once. You will too. I jerked back. The mirror shimmered, revealing a room on the other side. A throne of bleached bones. A man sitting on it, wearing a familiar face, but smiling with someone else's mouth. I ran. The tunnels twisted in ways that shouldn't have been possible. Loops, dead ends, stairs that led nowhere. My scanner died. My comm buzzed briefly. Unit 9, do you copy? We're reactivating the hatch. Say your location.
Ballroom level, I whispered. I think I'm under the main pool.
Understood. Stay put. But I couldn't. Because behind me, bare footsteps splashed softly against the stone. And whatever it wasn't wearing shoes. I ran without thinking. Past cracked tiles, damp walls, and a rusted ladder that seemed to lead upward. But before I could grab it, I stepped into another room. It wasn't the ballroom. This was different. Empty, except for a single raised platform under a circular spotlight. The moment I stepped onto it, lights roared to life overhead, flooding the space. There was no one in the room, yet I could feel eyes on me. Then a voice came, neutral, genderless, echoing from nowhere and everywhere at once. Performance. It wasn't pleading. It wasn't commanding. It was stating a fact, like it already knew what I was going to do. I stepped off the platform. The lights snapped off. The darkness swallowed everything. I stumbled backward until I caught the smell of chlorine. Somewhere ahead, water was circulating. Pool systems. I found the ladder again, pushed against the grate above until it groaned open just enough to squeeze through. I emerged into a utility shed behind what looked like a drained Olympic pool. Cracked tiles, broken chairs, the sky overcast. But there were no agents, no crew, just silence. I ran until I hit a road and flagged down a car. The driver didn't speak, didn't even look at me, just dropped me at an empty shopping plaza and drove off. When I checked my work portal 2 days later, my login was revoked. My phone wiped itself the moment I tried to charge it. My pay came through from an untraceable holding firm overseas. Then an email arrived, no reply option, reminded me that my NDA was lifetime enforceable. Attached was a photo of me, standing on that platform under the spotlight, smiling. I don't remember smiling. I could have walked away, but curiosity is a dangerous thing, Weeks later, I took another job, different client, different property, Hollywood Hills, mansion cleanout, same style of call. Cash payment, no questions, NDA. When I arrived, I realized the owner was gone for good. The air inside was stale, the smell faintly sweet but rotting. Upstairs, I found a rug slightly curled at the edge. Beneath it, another hatch. This one already cracked open. Cold, damp air rose from below. The staircase led to soundproofed walls, hundreds of photographs with eyes scratched out, names carved into the padding. Some of them famous, others not. Dates and a strange symbol under each name. The deeper I went, the more the red lights guided me forward, like the tunnel itself wanted me to keep going. At one point, I found children's toys scattered like offerings. A stuffed giraffe, a pink baby shoe with a burn mark. Inside the shoe was a photo of the same bedroom I had just been in. Same furniture, same suitcase. And in the doorway, me. The tunnel split into 3. A message scrawled on the wall read, "Pick the right way or stay forever." Above the middle path, an eye. I chose it. The space narrowed, forcing me to crouch. Then came the breathing. Not mine, wet, labored, coming from behind the walls. A silhouette appeared in my flashlight beam, crawling toward me. I ran until my lungs burned. The tunnel ended at a rusted metal door with that same eye carved into it. Beyond was a grotto, ankle-deep black water. Stone pillars carved with strange symbols, melted candles drifting like pale skin. At the center, a raised stone platform covered in small arranged bones. Empty baby oil bottles littered the base. Half buried in wax and fabric, I found a VHS tape labeled S. Carter, private. There was a TV and VCR on a cart connected to a humming generator. I slid the tape in. Grainy black and white footage appeared. The room on the tape looked like another part of this tunnel network. Standing in the water was someone who looked like Sean Carter, Jay-Z. Around him, naked figures, at least one too small to be an adult. All of them slick with oil. He moved among them slowly, whispering things I couldn't hear. Then he started to dance, no music, just some unseen rhythm. Finally, he looked directly into the camera and smiled. The screen warped. His eyes turned black. The grin widened unnaturally. I slammed the VCR off, but behind me, something splashed in the water. The candles started going out, one by one, until only darkness remained. Under the water, just visible in the dying light, something pale and eyeless was watching me. I don't remember how long I stood there staring into the water. 1 second, the pale shape was there, still as death. The next, the grotto was empty and silent. I turned to leave, but the tunnel had changed. No more red safety lights. Only darkness so thick my flashlight barely cut through it. The floor groaned under my steps, like the whole place was breathing with me inside it. Handprints started appearing on the walls, small, wet ones. Then came the sound of laughter. Children's laughter, warped and slowed, like it was being played backward. The walls were lined with old, cracked mirrors. In each one, I saw myself, only wrong. One version stood still, mouth open in a scream I couldn't hear. Another was drenched in blood. Another slowly raised a hand, pointing behind me. I turned. It wasn't a man. It wasn't a child. Tall, gaunt, skin like ash, and eyes the color of old paper, dark yellow, flat, inhuman. They didn't glow. They didn't blink. They just knew. It didn't move toward me. It didn't have to.
The weight of its stare hit like a punch, not to my body, but to every memory I'd ever had, every secret, every thought. The tunnel began to pulse with a low bass line, voices layered over it, my mother's, my ex's, my own, saying, "You knew. You went anyway. You belong here now." Something touched my back, cold, thin fingers. I spun, swung my flashlight, and it slipped from my hand, shattering on the wet floor. Total black. I ran. I don't know in which direction. The walls seemed to close in, then stretch away. My breath was ragged, my hands slipping on stone slick with something oily. I tripped and slid into a small circular room lit by a single flickering fluorescent. More mirrors, but now every reflection smiled at me. All of them, wide, hungry smiles. Their hands reached toward the glass. The walls behind me cracked. Dust rained down. And then they bled. I don't know how long I stumbled through that shifting maze, but eventually I found a small rusted metal door half hidden in a slanted wall. My hand shook as I pushed it open. Sunlight. I stepped out into the back of the mansion grounds. The same ivy walls, the same cracked fountains. Birds chirped, sprinklers hissed, like nothing had happened. My truck was still parked out front. The pouch they'd locked my phone in was sitting open on the passenger seat, like none of it had mattered. I drove without stopping. Didn't talk to anyone. Tried to convince myself it was all in my head. But the whispers started. Through the vents at night, in the shower. Sometimes I'd smell baby oil for no reason. Sometimes I'd see yellow eyes staring back at me from the bathroom mirror. Then the package arrived. No return address. Inside, one Polaroid. The tunnel hallway. Torn foam walls. Flickering red lights. And me, standing dead center, smiling. Only the eyes in the photo weren't mine.